We got the Oakland legend, Digital Underground Zone, Money Beat joining me here from Sports and Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max. He's got a lot on the way. He's got a brand new single on the way with Guapdad 4000. Just a lot in the works, and we need to really celebrate his legacy and everything he's done for hip hop, and he's going to continue to do for hip hop because that's what we do for hip hop legends in the game. Money B, welcome to the show, man. How's everything going? Mad Max Radio, Live 65 iHeart Radio. How's it going, man?
Great, great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So how are you feeling about this upcoming single? Sit next to me, Guapdad 4000. I did catch the preview of it. Shout out to Talia for sending it to me earlier. I like what I'm hearing. You kind of mixed that. You still got that old school vibe, who you are as Money B, just everything, and bringing it to the new flavor and collaborating with Guapdad 4000. So how are you feeling about the new single?
I'm excited, because like you just said, I always love when I can bridge former generations with newer generations, because I feel like there is this sort of gap, unnecessary gap in music, in hip hop, that, I'm always trying to, show my contemporaries that there is something to appreciate about the new music that's happening, but also sharing information about where it started from with the younger generation. So, this is a great collaboration. Guapdad's from Oakland. I'm from Oakland. And it's just, I believe like it's a natural fit, actually.
It was the track. When I listened to it, it just had me bopping, and I said, "This is a hit." And it just proves that the older generation can hang with the young generation, and they belong. Because I know you mentioned that there's a bridge in the gap, and I agree. And I don't agree with it at all. Besides what the industry does to the older hip hop artists, but why do you think it's just the hip hop space and the hip hop industry that it's the young man's game, and where the older artists, they don't get the love and attention that they deserve because they built the foundation? Where rock, you still hear the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, all these other genres, country music, they're still dragging out Willie Nelson to performances. Why is it hip hop that the older legends just don't get the respect that they deserve?
I don't know. And it actually it happens in pop music as well. But I don't know why it's hip hop that way. But you do have to understand that hip hop has always been a youth driven art form, right? So understand that. So it's always going to be led by whatever the youth movement is, right? But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden you have to turn in your rapper card at a certain age and collect a watch and sit to the side. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if you're a creative, you're always going to create, right? Mm-hmm. So even people in hip hop, rappers, DJs that I know personally that have quote unquote retired or have moved on to do other things, we have conversations. I'm like, bro, you still think creatively in your mind. You think of rhymes, you just don't write them down and you don't tell them to anybody. So I don't know why, but I try to ignore it as much as I can.
Yeah, and that's all you can really do, and just keep releasing the music and just showing the people that the legends belong. How did you get connected with Guapdad? I mean, obviously you got the Oakland connection. So when did you start to really link with him and work together? Because I read from just all the information online that it was kind of like a mentor role between you two.
Well, it goes back a few years ago. Like I had heard of Guap, but I didn't know him. So a few years ago, shoot, I want to say it might have been at least 5 or 6 years ago. I'm not sure. But he did a song. He recorded a song. I think it was with Simba. Do you know who Simba is?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So they recorded and they redid Freaks of the Industry, right? One of our songs. And usually when people try to, redo classic hits, it's a little something to be, leave something to be desired. But it was kind of dope. He added, they added like a new spin to it. And they actually brought it to us. His manager, Sam Nelson, got in contact with me and Shock about clearing the sample, Freaks of the Industry. Well, when Shock heard it, Shock G, rest in peace, he loved it. He loved it so much that he was even like, he's like, bro, I'm not even going to charge him for like master master the master use of the record. Just use it, and then we'll get our publishing, whatever. And that's how much he liked it, and I thought it was dope too. So we gave the green light for the record to be cleared, but for some reason, Donna Summers, who the original sample was from, "Love to Love You, Baby," they wouldn't clear it. And so Sam hit me. He was like, "Man, what can I do?" So I tried to help them, through our management and through labels and everything else. I tried to assist them in getting that record cleared. The record never got cleared, but the relationship was established. I looked out for them. So when Shock G passed, I reached back out to Sam and Guap, and we did a big celebration in Oakland. August 25th is Digital Underground Day in Oakland, California. It's also Shock G's birthday, and we did a big celebration at his memorial in Oakland. And then when they gave us the proclamation for Digital Underground Day in Oakland, and I asked WAP to perform Shock G's verse when we did Freaks of the Industry, and he showed up and he did it, and we just stayed tight from there. So when I got the beat for "Sit Next to Me" from Excel, who's the producer of the track, he's out of Chicago. He's a two-time Grammy-winning producer. He's produced with Kanye, Wiz Khalifa, NLE Chopper, Shauna, just a bunch of people. And when I laid my verse, I immediately thought of WAP. I could hear his voice on it. Because the way that my cadence and the way that I kind of spit my verse was sort of in that range of the Freaks of the Industry, right? And I knew that was right up WAP's lane. So I hit him up and asked him to do it, and he knocked it out. So just like that.
Now we continue to build off of this single. Are you looking to potentially do an EP with Guapdad, or you just kind of just want to get more Oakland artists involved in the younger generation? What's kind of like the future from here?
Well, right now, so like I said, XL was the producer of that track, but I also did a full album, like a collab album, his production, and me making the songs. And not only did I incorporate, and he's from Chicago, west side of Chicago, and the album or the body work is called Midway, after the airport on the west side of Chicago. So it's like the Bay Area or Oakland, Chicago connection. We meet at Midway. So that's the name of the album. So not only do I have Guapdad representing like the younger generation of newer artists, I also have an artist out of Chicago. Her name is Sweet Juices, and she's dope. She's actually featured on KRS-One just put out a record, and she's on one of his records.
Okay.
She got bars. She killing. So if you're on IG, follow Sweet Juices.
Yeah,
on
definitely.
IG. But got a song with her, and then I also have featured my partner in crime, Young Hump, who is the other half of the touring iteration of Digital Underground right now. Young Hump was Shock's protege, and he actually played Shock G in the All Eyes on Me movie, the Tupac movie. But got a song with him produced by the Mechanics out of Oakland. If you're familiar with Bay Area music, that is the only song produced, or the only song that's not produced by XL on the record. And it's I had to get the Bay Area sound in there. And then I believe the only other feature I have is Cold Hard from a group called Crucial Conflict out of Chicago. They were popular in the 90s, if you're familiar with 90s music.
Yeah.
They had a song called Hey. That was really big back in the early to mid 90s year. But, we've been friends for 25, 30 years. And so, it was all about the Chicago Bay Area connection. So, I pulled the OG in. We actually just shot the video a couple of weeks ago in Chicago. So I'm excited about that as well.
Wow. Yeah. You're moving. You have a lot on the way here, especially an autobiography that I heard. And I think it's going to really pique people's interest, not just to hear everything, but your backstory was interesting. Me learning about it is that you came up under your father who was in the Black Panther Party. So you remember during those times. Are there any stories you could share that?
Juneteenth.
Yeah, yeah. It's Juneteenth today.
You know what I'm saying?
Important day.
Yep. Now, what were you just saying? I'm sorry, I missed
Yeah.
that.
Is there any stories that you could share that kind of just like a interlude, a prelude to the autobiography that you're probably going to give all of us that you don't want to give too much away, but is there something that you can give
Well,
us just about coming up under your father?
I'll say something that's really relevant for the time right now. So, the Black Panther, or should I say, the Oakland Community School that I attended was founded by Huey P. Newton and the Black Panther Party, and it was for elementary age kids. And I went through there all through, and I graduated from there. Actually, when I graduated from the school, Huey P. Newton actually handed me my diploma. So there's a picture out there with me and Huey. My mama lost mine, but we'll talk about that later. But what I was saying is really, really relevant. So it was a school, and it was it was an advanced method of teaching, and it got a lot of notoriety, not just being founded by the Black Panther Party, but because of the way that the kids were being taught. We were taught, we weren't, they didn't teach us like this is what you have to know. They actually taught us how to think, so we could, we would learn, and then we could ask questions, and the questions would be explained. And so the school was such where people wanted to see this school and come and witness it for themselves. The school that was founded by the Black Panther Party and all these really bright, intelligent kids, and the free lunch program was started there. So I was a part of the original free lunch program.
Wow.
They would raise money for sickle cell anemia, which is a disease that mainly affects people in the Black community. And um, and I say that to say is, celebrities and and known figures would come visit the school. You know, we got to meet them, but they actually wanted to come and visit the school. So I actually met Willie Mays when I was a kid.
Wow, rest in peace.
Willie Mays, yeah, rest in peace, Willie Mays, who just passed. And the thing that I'm most proud of is that I actually met Rosa Parks in person. She came to our school, and we have pictures with Rosa Parks. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what my childhood was like and how I grew up.
Historical. Now, because I do want to limit the Tupac questions, but how did you and Pac connect, especially him coming from the Black Panthers with his mother? So how did you two connect on that level when you guys first met? Because that's deep. And then putting it into the
Well, when I found out, very early on that his mom was in the Black Panther Party and my dad was. Now, his mother was part of the Panther 21. She was a New York Panther. And my father, although originally from Philadelphia, he was in Oakland with Huey. So it was two separate kind of like factions, right? So they never knew each other back then or communicated, but they did eventually meet. But um, us being, us having the same background, it wasn't like, I always tell people, it wasn't like we sat around in a hotel room and had meetings about how we were going to do shit. It was just more or less, I understood where he was coming from when he was talking. So the things that he was speaking, a lot of people were taken aback. Like it was their first time hearing, like, what is he talking about? Revolution and this, that, and the other. But it was a language that I already understood because I was raised hearing the same messages. So when he would talk about what he wanted to do for the community and and how he felt about the police and judicial system and everything else, it didn't shock me. I wasn't amazed. You know what I mean? I got it, right? And so that probably was the thing that was different about our relationship with us both coming from having the same background as that. We understood each other, right? So um, nothing that he ever said or that he wanted to do really surprised me. Whereas a lot of people thought he was crazy at times, or couldn't understand what he wanted to do, and that was it.
Yeah, and you created a lot of history together. Brenda's Got a Baby, one of the most powerful track. That may be the most powerful track in hip hop history, next to Dear Mama. And
Yep.
when you look at it, it's just there's nothing like it. And because when we saw All Eyes on Me, we saw the backlash that he was getting. Do you remember the backlash he was getting from the label as far as them not wanting to put it out?
Um, Not necessarily the backlash. It was because that was internal, right?
Mm,
Um, we were supposed to be signed to Interscope together, but myself and DJ Fuse, we had a group called Fusion, and we ended up signing with Hollywood Basic, Hollywood Records. So you know, I knew through Atria, his manager, that um, Tupacalypse Now, that album, when it was first released, it really didn't do, it wasn't doing well, right? That album didn't sell until later, you
yeah.
know. So as far as record sales, it didn't do as well as they wanted it to be, but they believed in him as an artist. So they believed more in Tupac and what he could possibly do as opposed to, like nowadays, you get one single. If it's flop, they're dropping, you know. Um, so they believed in him as an artist. So um, I remember when we recorded that song, we thought it was a really good song. We thought it was original, but I didn't know that the label was fighting him as much as they did to not release it as a single. I understand why, because it didn't have three hooks and a catchy chorus, and it wasn't a dance tune that people were used to. But I think the right decision was made.
Yeah, I agree. It's a deep record, and it's something that artists need to look back on and do their research to, and learning how to take risks. Artists don't take those risks anymore. They're not as bold. I'd say in the underground there are, but with the
Mhm.
mainstream artists, they just don't take risks. They follow trends, and a lot of that's probably the label heads behind them telling them what they can put out and what they can't. And that's why a lot of times you have to be independent, which did want me to bring up Gala Music, because you're releasing music through Gala Music where you have full control and just creativity over your music. So, what sparked you to do the research and find out about Gala? How did you get in tune with Gala? Because there's a bunch of other artists that release music on there, and that's how they get their rights.
Yeah, I have control of the music. I don't have control over my dog. I keep telling him not to sit on my couch. He keeps doing it. But Gala music and just Web3 in general, right? I believe that it 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 puts the power back in the hands of the artist per se, because you get to directly interact with your supporters and offer them incentives or utility to projects that if you were back in the day, a label would take 3 months to get it cleared. You know, Now we can come up and I can get feedback from um, people that support us on Gala and say, hey, what should the remix be? You know what I mean? And next thing you know, I'm dropping the remix that we discussed together on the platform, right? We can also, um, give incentives, directly to the community. Whereas, we can give them tickets to concerts, but also when you put out an NFT, it's a limited number, right? So once we mint, say it's 100 or 200, once those 200 are gone, that's it. We're not minting anymore. So now that if you have that song, if you own it, it can also increase in value. So there's resale value to it that you can resell it directly, through the blockchain. And you also know that, cryptocurrency, um, the potential for it to grow. So you might say you buy it at the value of say $100, right? Um, Next year this time it could be worth $250. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then it's just a whole lot that you can do. And for the artists, it's Web3, and the blockchain is completely transparent, so you can see exactly how many people purchased the music NFT for how much, right? You can see when there's resale. when it resells into the secondary market. So, I love the transparency. I love the um, the community that you're able to build in Web3, and I'm just excited on where we can go.
And you're just getting started with this. And I did read online and just hearing about it that there's some unreleased digital underground music in the works. Is are we going to get an update on to when we could potentially hear this unreleased work?
Yeah, so we have some lost verses from Shock G, and we've talked about, well, it's in heavy talks, and we've already started working on it, of sort of like finishing a last digital underground album. And the first single features Shock G, myself, Young Hump, and produced by DJ Premier. So
Wow.
yeah, man, it's I'm excited about it. Now the dates of when it can be released, I'm not sure. It's not done, so I don't want to get people too excited about it, but it's definitely coming.
That's epic. And it's crazy that there's this new unreleased music between you guys because I remember in the 90s, one of my favorite albums that you guys released was The Lost Files. That
Mhm.
album. So was that unreleased music that you had early on from
So
even the
there's a story
90s?
about that, right?
Oh yeah, I want to hear that's one of my favorite
Can't
digital
forget about the
underground.
Shock G beer.
Wow. Yeah, I
Also,
want to
Shock
bring
G
that up.
Forever,
Yeah.
Golden Ale. It's very tasty. So Lost Files, right? So to me, the Lost Files is the equivalent of the NFT drop we're about to drop on Gala, right?
Mm.
Of the single, because the um the physical copy, the CD of Lost Files, I actually made it. It was something that I put out, and I pressed up only 100 physical copies, original physical copies were pressed. I pressed them up for us to sell on the Who Got the Gravy tour. That it was a digital underground tour that we did, and I had some songs, and I asked Shock, and he's like, man, we never put these out. I want people to hear them. If you're gonna put it on something, so we had this compilation of 11 songs, and I put it together. Me and my guy Mike P. We pressed them up specifically to take out on this tour to sell. And I remember back then, this was like '98. Um, there was no internet, at least not for us at the time. So you could only get the physical copy of it. So that's really the story behind it. And it's funny, if you look it up on Wikipedia, it's listed as an official album release, but it was never released. It was only CDs that we made to sell on tour.
Wow.
So it's just merch. And then but the word spread, and then I guess when digital sharing came along, our fans loved it enough that it spread the way that it did.
Yeah.
Now it's out digitally. Um, but originally, if you have a physical copy, then you have something that's valuable because only 100 were ever pressed.
Wow. Is there vinyl copies out there of it too, or is it just
No
straight
vinyl. We
CD?
never
CD.
did.
Wow.
Something I might have to look into.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. People over the stairs, Voodoo Woman. You got some big ones on there that I appreciate.
Mm-hmm. That'd
Classic.
be a good idea. Do
Yeah.
some.
Especially, and it would all make sense because you have the unreleased digital underground music, the new
Mhm.
stuff that we haven't even heard of yet. So it's kind of would make sense at this point. Then we look back because Sex Packets, that's just the ultimate album for you guys. But the Humpty Dance, how walk me through the story of you guys coming up with this track because the rhyme scheme in it, just everything with watching Shock G put that together and just the music video. Because I did hear the story about him going to pick out the nose. It was similar to a boutique like Melrose, Uptown Berkeley. He got the nose idea. So just walk me through the making of that song because it's just the rhyme
Wait,
scheme
which song?
of the Humpty Dance.
Oh, the Humpty Dance. Um, yeah, so the Humpty Dance actually was one of the last songs that we recorded. It really wasn't even supposed to be on the album. Only reason the Humpty Dance got recorded was because the song that we wanted on the album couldn't get cleared. It was a song we did we sampled Kraftwerk. It was called Underground Systems, and I actually still have the cassette of that song. Um, oh, if you want to hear that song, you could actually hear it. But you'd have to go into the Voxels metaverse, to the Digital Underground headquarters and go underground. And I have it where you can listen to it.
Wow.
But anyway, the yeah, so we didn't get the song cleared and we needed a new song. And I remember the night that Fuse and Shock, they were at where Shock lived. Shock lived with our manager, Sleuth. They had a house. They were renting out. I think Sleuth's mom had a house. It was like in West Oakland. And it was kind of like our headquarters, right? So we were there and they're like, man, we're about to try to work on this new song. You gonna hang out? And I was like, nah, I think I was gonna go see some girl or something. So I was like, I'm out of here. So I left and I was out all night. And I think I might have came home either in the morning or like really, really late. And I walked in the house and they were like, man, check this out. And they played it from the 4-track. As soon as I heard it, I was like, we out of here. I knew it. It was a hit from the 4-track version. And I still have that. I still have that 4-track version of it too.
Wow.
But yeah. So as soon as I heard it with that beat and just the way he was spitting it, it was yeah, it was undeniable, right? But it did take us a few times to take it into the big studio to record it to try to get that same vibe. So now that's a funny story how we got to that, but I'll save that for the book.
Okay. You have some iconic stories that I can't wait to read this book. When do you plan on releasing this? When do you plan on getting it? Because I know this is going to be self-published.
Mm-hmm. This year.
This year.
I actually have a meeting with my co-writer later on tonight to kind of, wrap up the loose ends, and then it's all about putting together a marketing plan and how we're gonna do it.
I'm gonna be piqued to read this.
Might even create an NFT about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it will be. But just these songs, because that's something that's so crazy, is that you guys knew when they were going to be hit records. You knew I Get Around was going to be a hit record. You just knew.
I did.
That's how talented you guys really were. You guys just knew.
Mm-hmm. Another record I knew was a hit when I first heard it was Kiss You Back.
Kiss You Back, yeah.
And Shock was nervous because he thought, or he wasn't sure if it sounded too R&B. He didn't, he was like, man, is this too R&B? And I was like, bro, if you don't put me on this song.
I never thought of it that way. That's the first time I've ever thought of it. It does have an R&B feel to it, but it's hip hop.
Well, it's hip hop, but it has like a, because it has the bass line. It just had like a, I don't want to say like
kind of like a jingle.
Yeah, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like shimmy, shimmy. It was all light and popish. And then of course with the lyrics, shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, purposely done to say, yeah, we know this is kind of light and fluffy and popish, right? But yeah, he wasn't sure, but I knew. As soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, we're doing this.
It's something I love reading online. It's just even like when the fans say it, there's just how real love was back in the day and just how the authenticity of just people. Because now today, everything's all, because I saw a comment on there that people, it's like a cartoon now because you see how things are just so going on with society now, social media, women trying to model themselves after certain celebrities and do all these crazy things to look fake, get all these implants and stuff, where that time it was genuine and it was real. And it's crazy that, yeah, it is 30 years ago, but it's like, wow, look how times have changed.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that if the technology was available, they would have, because breast implants didn't get invented 15 years ago. They were getting them back then as well, right? They weren't doing the butts like that. But social media is its own beast, right? And you're right. People live for that, and that's where they get their what you call it, their clout or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, it's also an addiction, right? That
Mhm.
that need for attention can be addictive, and then people do anything to get it, whether it's like you said, augmenting their bodies, um, committing crimes, and telling on themselves to let people know that they did it. I don't, I don't know, man.
It's unbelievable.
It's weird.
But with the upcoming single here with Guapdad sitting next
Mhm.
to me, you got the official release on the 24th, but you got the music release too on the YouTube. You're gonna have that rolling out as well. The
Yeah, we're
24th.
gonna drop the video. The video is amazing. Shout out to my guy Rich at War Media. But I'm as proud of the video as I am of the actual song. I think the visuals to it are awesome. Um, so the video will drop either the day before or the day that the single drops on Gala Music. So I'm excited that, but we will be leaking out some of the visuals leading up to it on social media, on IG and the other things.
Will we get a digital underground docu series? Because we've seen the Dear Mama one. You also were. I read online that you took part in the All Eyes on Me documentary, and you just playing yourself and all that stuff. Are we gonna get a digital underground docu series? Because I think it's not only just important to Oakland, but hip hop history. Because your contributions and you guys play a big part in it.
Um, there's been talks of doing like the 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 authentic docu series, and there's also been talks of actually turning it into an actual movie or doing both. We you know we get asked all the time, and with us when Digital Underground, us as a collective, right? Um, I can name off all we can say former group members, but even like Tupac, people always say, well, didn't Tupac used to be in Digital Underground? But I always tell people we never kicked anybody out of the group. So anybody that was in Digital Underground was in Digital Underground. So, our collective of members, you got Atron, who's the manager, Stoof, who's the road manager, and just all of us that make the decisions. Um, we always get approached, but me, myself personally, I made a conscious decision to kind of step back because I do so many other things. Like I handle the Digital Underground merchandise. Me and Young Hunt, we tour as Digital Underground. I handle the touring. I handle basically just Digital Underground staying visible. I take on that responsibility for our collective and bring in as many people as I can. But so I decided when it comes to negotiating and doing the deal for the movie or the docu series or whatever, I let Atron handle that part of it. Him and Cletus Clee, who's also a member of Digital Underground, and my cousin, and Ray Love, and cats like that kind of handle business behind the scene in that aspect, that are into film and that already have their foot into the film and television sort of like arena. Once that deal is greenlit, or once that happens, then we'll all get together and share the information to make sure that it's tight. Yeah. But that's just my long way of saying, like, I'm letting them deal with that part of it. So there is talks of documentaries, movies, and this, that, and the other. But I'm kind of letting the other guys take care of it.
And you got the merchandise on too, Digital Underground. You got the hat on. Where could people buy this merch?
DUmerch.com. DU, like Digital Underground, DUmerch.com. Like merchandise, DUmerch.com. Very easy.
Yeah, make sure people got to go check this out. I remember when I interviewed MC Search, he brought up just him hanging around you guys. Do you have an MC Search story? Him coming down there with Third Base?
Yep.
Yeah.
So our very first U.S. national tour was the Big Daddy Kane tour, and that was Big Daddy Kane, Digital Underground, Queen Latifah, and Third Base, the core. And then as we went around regionally, we would pick up other groups in different regions that would come on the tour. But that was the main core that was at every show. And I just remember, you know, Tupac, he was like he could freestyle like really, really well, right? People don't know that. He could really freestyle. Search could also freestyle just as well. That was their talent, right? And just every city that we were in after the show, because we were doing like arenas, really, uh, arenas and huge theaters and whatnot. After every show back at the hotel, every local MC wanted to come and battle, the guys that were on. And I just remember every night, especially if there was a piano in the lobby, Shock G would get on the piano and Search and Tupac would battle every MC that came into that hotel lobby until none were standing, and they were never defeated ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I had like one rap. Nah, I couldn't freestyle. I got riddens all day. I got bars, but I never was a great freestyle guy.
No, and I don't think you have to be. It's all evident in the music because when you hear this
Yeah,
new single and then all the old, because I agree, I get around. You did kill Tupac on his own song. I remember hearing the story about you
talk
telling
about it.
about that because he wanted the verse back. You killed him on it, and what's up, love? How you doing? Right off the start,
Hmm.
kill it.
That same song.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Even Brenda's got a baby. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, we have other songs. Yeah. So, and that's why I can say that so freely. Like, I'm not a freestyle guy because I know that I can write, and I've done some great songs. And I always tell people any song that I've ever, I've been on songs with Big Daddy Kane, with uh, Tupac, you name it.
Yeah.
Like I like too many to count.
Above the law.
But you above the law. Um, like sometimes I see or hear about songs that I forgot about. Oh, yeah, that's right. Um, uh, Granddaddy IU and Tech from Smith and Wesson. Like across the spectrum, I've done songs with a plethora of artists, and I would challenge anybody to point a song that I'm on with any of those artists and say that I didn't belong. I'm not saying, I'm not always going to say that I've always had the best verse, but I've always belonged in the song,
Absolutely.
you know? So
Yeah.
I'm definitely confident in my pen.
There's no question in that at all, especially when they hear the new single. You also have a relationship with Gala music president Lila Steinberg, Tupac's former manager. So how
Right.
kind of have you stayed connected over the years up until this point? Because it's been a long time. So just because it's usually tough, sometimes managers, there's fallouts in the industry, people go different ways. So what is it that's kind of kept you two together for so long and forming that relationship?
Well, like I said, I met Layla the same day I met Tupac and Ray Love. Like she brought them to us because her and Atron were friends. And um because she was Pac's original manager and then advisor, and then Strictly Dope, Ray Love, to Earl Sweatshirt, Mac Mall, and all the artists that she's dealt with through the 30, what is it, 35 years or 36 years of knowing her. Our relationship has always been that of just a friendship relationship. She's never managed me or anything of that. So we didn't have a business relationship that could possibly have been soured by a bad deal or whatever. It's just been a genuine, you know, relationship of caring about each other. So throughout the years, I've always supported, all these artists that I've mentioned. I've always supported everything that she's done, and she's always supported what we've done because her and Atri were very good friends, even longer than that, right? So we kind of stayed in touch on that sort of that was the relationship. The relationship was never that of business. So this is actually, I mentioned it to her, and I'm so happy. This is our first time actually doing business together.
Wow.
This many years later.
Insane.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. It's a lot of history, and it's
Yeah.
still being revealed and still pushing in 2024 and beyond. I mean, when we look at just everything with Digital Underground that you have done, you also manage artists as well. So what kind of got you into the managing game?
Well, up until 2015, uh, Sleuth, who was the original role manager for Digital Underground, and he was the manager of Raw Fusion. Once we um, once we lost our deal with Hollywood Hollywood Records or Hollywood Basic in like 94 ish. Yeah, like 94 ish. I hadn't had a manager since then. So anything that I've ever done, I've been my own manager, my own publicist, my own record label, my own. I've just been independent, and I've survived in this industry of doing everything for myself and not relying. So, and even as we continued to tour with Digital Underground, I eventually became the road manager while being the performer, because we were, cutting down on how many people we would go out. Because, before we going out with 12 and 14 people, when we're not doing arenas anymore, and now we're doing clubs, you can't take 14 people out. So you shrink it, right? And then now people have to do 2 and 3 jobs. And I guess I was the responsible one, if you want to call it that. And so I became like the road manager. So I'm saying that to say, like, I basically had to teach myself to be everybody that
For all the
was
different
needed
hats.
in order for my career to continue, or at least to stay afloat, right? Um, so, and like I told you earlier, I've always been the one to share any information that I have to younger people, so they don't have to go through the things that we had to go through, to make it easier, especially if they're interested, you know, you give it to them. But there's an artist, Lil Mikey TMB, who, me and his dad have been friends since we were like 11 and 12 years old. So, I watched him grow up, and he was in the streets and doing all of his things in the streets. He ended up getting, he got shot 5 times on 3 different occasions. Like the last time, they put like 100 rounds in his car, and he was in a coma. And when he came out the coma, he was like, "Oh, bro, I want to do this music stuff for real." And I was like, "If you're serious, I'll rock with you." And since 2012, I've managed Lil Mikey. Not these days, not so much daily hands on. I'm more, he call I'm more of an advisor now.
Hmm.
But anytime some real business needs to be handled, he can call me, and I can either speak to the person on his behalf or point him in the direction of somebody that I trust that can help make what he's trying to get done happen.
Yeah. Oh, that's real. It definitely is. And that's so important to the hip hop lens, that they could pass down so much information to the younger artists. That's why the younger artists don't cut the legends and the pioneers and the OGs out. They want to help you. So
Right.
stop calling them dusty and washed up and all
Uh,
this stuff. And you could really learn off these guys and then collaborate with them, give back, because you can create history doing that. But instead, a lot of them, they have their own agendas. I get it. Like you said, young man's game. But like I said, they
yeah.
could be learning a lot off you.
Yep. And it's just if they want to, like, and
If they
when
want to. Yeah.
if they want to, and when they
Big
say that,
phrase.
I don't even take offense to it, because what I also know too, on the younger cats' defense, a lot of older guys is like, "Man, that ain't real. That's back in our day,
Yeah.
get off my lawn," type of. And I'm like, stop doing that, because they feel like you're disrespecting them. You're not even giving them a chance, right? So it goes both ways. But
Yeah.
like I said, when I hear that, you know, even little Mikey TLB that I manage, I always tell him, be careful because you're going to be that age one day. You talk about somebody that's 30, when you're 30, you make sure you keep that same energy
Yeah.
and watch what they start calling you that. Because young cats think that they're never going to age. Like they're going to be that forever. And that's just not the truth. And so I kind of look at it, I be like,
Yeah.
it's
The
coming.
tables turn.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's going to happen. And I just hope that they can handle it.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of extra stuff that these kids are doing.
Yeah.
And
It's wild. Wild and toxic. But do you have I wanted you to show it for the camera one more time, the Shock G Brewery, the legacy with the ale there, because I wanted you to get into if you have a new line from the brewery, anything else, any more products from the
this is
legacy.
the Shock G Forever Golden Ale, brewed by Hella Coastal, first black brewers, or the only black brewers out of Oakland, California, and brewed out of Oak Park Brewery in Sacramento. They are brewing partners. And initially in 2021, when we had that first memorial, we did it as a commemorative, like a one-time, one-off thing. But everybody loved the beer so much and been asking since then for us to bring it back. And we actually won Best Beer Label in USA Today for 2023. So the label art is award-winning label art. It's a golden ale, which is super tasty. Everybody loves it. And so we decided, you know what? Let's really go ahead and get it out there in the market and be in the market to stay. So now, with my partner, Denitza, who's also part of the collective, we call her Peps. She's my partner. And we're gonna, Shock G Forever Golden Ale is here to stay, basically.
Yeah.
So our goal is to, elevate the brand. Right now, we're self-distributed, so it's in California only right now. And so if you're in Northern California, you can get it a lot of places, but especially at Oak Park Brewery. We're working on distribution here in Southern California, and then after that, then there's a sister brewery in Florida that will probably be our next place to brew, and then New York will probably be after that. And the one thing about our beer is, Hella Coastal and the master brewer at Oak Park Brewery are part of the National Black Brewers Association. So when we go to these different places and brew in other states, we do like to tap in with breweries that are part of the National Black National Black Brewers Association, and kind of start from there. But we are in some interesting conversations right now where it could expand pretty quickly. But I'm confident that this is going to be around for a while. So get your hands on the can. Shock G Forever Golden Ale.
Yeah. Rest in peace to Shock G, the legend.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to be on the horizon for the tour? You guys going to be going on some tours here?
Yeah. So, sorry. I'll if it's a way or tally, give him our tour schedule. But our next show is June 29th in Madisonville, Kentucky, and then we on the go from there. I think like every weekend we're out damn near throughout the rest of the summer.
When you're in New York, I got to come out to that show because I'm in the tri-state. I got to if you guys are in New York, I got to get out to that show, see you guys perform.
What part?
I'm in Connecticut, but I always travel to New York. I'm basically in between New York and Connecticut.
So how far is Syracuse from you?
Oh, that's probably like 3 hours. That's probably,
No,
yeah.
we're performing at the state fair in is it August or September?
Ooh. Yeah, I'll pop out I'll make the drive, trust me.
Yeah, if you come through, I'll take care of you. I'll make sure you straight.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yo, I'll make the drive for that. Definitely got to see you,
Yep.
young Hump, do your thing.
Yeah, we're at the state fair in Syracuse. I'll look it up real quick. It's not a problem.
Yeah, no, we definitely got to go check out the performance. It's great that you guys are still keeping the legacy, keeping the new music. Got a lot of things on the way, a lot of things that we touched on today. I think the fans are really going to be happy about, and just salute to everything that you have done for hip hop. And while you're checking for the tour schedule there,
August 21st,
August 21st, there we have it.
Syracuse, New
Yeah,
York.
if you're
I'll be
in the
there.
New York area, make sure to go pop out to that. What's the update on your podcast? I know you have your own show.
Um, the Way Back Gaming Show,
Yeah,
or I'm gonna bring it back.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. That's the room you did it in.
this is exactly the room. And you said I have a turntable set up, so you know we was retro gaming and all of that. But I'm probably gonna incorporate, you know, me spinning some of the old school because you know I got the hands, so I could do that. But yeah, you know, my son who was my co-pilot in the game, we'd always be playing because I introduced him to all of the old games like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man and Street Fighter, and he loves all that older stuff. So I don't know if you've ever seen the show, but normally I have like an hour where I'm just playing him in the game and he's kicking my butt and stuff.
Yeah, I seen it online.
Right. And then obviously I'm always sharing interesting stories about the artists and just our history and giving, you know, a lot of history of hip hop. So it was really fun. I just you know, sometimes you get busy, man. I forget what it was, something that took me away from it, and then I just didn't go back to it. But I've been hearing a lot that people want me to jump back in. So if you're on Twitch, you know, at MoneyB69, just like Instagram at MoneyB69, just like was it TikTok at MoneyB69, Twitter at MoneyB69. You get it. It's a theme. Just follow me. And when it happens, speaking of that, Kendrick is on Twitch right now, killing.
Oh
I know
yeah,
he got
yeah,
that concert tonight.
yeah. I did. I've been hearing about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
tonight goes down.
It's on Amazon and Twitch live. I don't think he's come on stage just yet.
It will be
Jamming.
shortly.
Yes, sir.
You got the Niners memorabilia in the back. I can't believe that they
Know it.
lost again to the Chiefs. Hopefully, I can't stand the Chiefs, but I will say this because I'm a Jet fan. We see you week one this year. I
Is Rodgers gonna be on a retreat? He's gonna be back
hope
in
he
time.
is. I hope he is. He better not get injured within the first four plays again. That was terrible.
Yeah, man. Feel sorry for you guys. I think y'all picked up one of our guys too. Can't remember.
Yeah, I think
Y'all
someone
got
on
a,
the defensive line. Yeah.
and y'all got Hassan Reddick, I believe too.
Yeah, it's right from the Eagles. Yeah. You better hope he doesn't get the Purdy again.
Ah, what happened the last time we played him?
Yeah, exactly.
I know what he got to. He got to an ass whooping.
Exactly. But go Oakland A's.
Yep.
And he got
Well, why they there?
yeah. The
It's
Warriors
almost
didn't
over.
they didn't go too far this year, but I feel like we've seen a lot from the Warriors in recent years. They've been so dominant for many years now. So
Yeah, I'm hoping we could squeeze out a couple of more good seasons while we still got Steph. You know,
yeah,
move some stuff around. I think we can.
I think
Uh,
you can too.
mhm.
Yeah, greatest shooter of all time.
Yes,
Money
sir.
B. Anything else you'd love to let your fans know? Anything else that we didn't cover here today that you want to mention?
Yeah, definitely check us out. City near you. Um, you know, if you're in California, Oak Park Brewery, Shock G Golden Ale, find it in the shop or ask to have it in your shop. But if you're in California, you can also order it online at Oak Park Brewery's website. I think it's opbrew.com. Um, you know, get your Digital Underground merchandise at dumerch.com. And of course, pick up the new single on it's June 25th. But June 24th, I think we're gonna do a live stream, but you can hear it the day before and see the video at Gala Music, you know, was it Gala.music. hiphoprap.com.
Mhm.
And man, I'm just excited for it. And then when it drops, grab it, man. Grab that NFT. It's gonna be valuable, just like Lost Files. You got a
Yeah.
track record. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
trying to think what else I'm not. I do so much, man. I be forgetting stuff that I'm doing. Oh, the book, right? The book is coming out a little bit later. Um, shoot, just follow me on Instagram, and everything I do, I always talk about. So that's really the way you find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Money B69 on all platforms.
Yep.
Stream sitting next to me. You got it. June 24th, Gala Music. Make sure you go check it out. People, you're going to be in for a treat for sure. All the hip hop fans out there, you won't be disappointed. The newer generation and the older generation come together right there. Money B, Guapdad 4000. It's going to be epic once the people hear it. But man, Money
Yep.
B,
Also featuring excellence and produced by excellence out
Chicago.
of
Yeah.
West Side Chicago. That's what we do.
Yeah. Money B, thank you for coming on the show, man. It was an honor. Thank you to Talia for getting us connected and set up here.
Yep. Hey,
Thank you for
Tally.
everything that you did for hip hop and that you continue to do. You're a legend, man. I appreciate everything you continue to do.
I appreciate you having me.
Of
Sit
course.
next to me.
Anytime.
All
Anytime.
right.
All right, Money B. Enjoy the rest of your night and
You
take
too.
care.
Peace out.
Peace out.